When I debate skeptics on the New World Order, they go from denying the plans completely to saying, well, what's so bad about a one-world government? We're talking about a constitution for the world written by people who don't care about our freedoms as individuals. In Section 802 of the Patriot Act, all misdemeanors are considered terrorism. This just displays the mindset of the people in charge. The freedoms and rights we take for granted will cease to exist once a New World Order is put into motion. That's what most people don't realize. They are too trusting of the people in charge. It's not a question of if the New World Order plans are real or if these elite want a one-world government, because they've admitted it. They said it openly that they want this. The question is, what are their intentions? Are they good? Are they for the people? Or do they want to rule the people? Do they care about us? Or do they not care about us? That's the debate. When debating ignorant or uneducated people, expect them to go off topic and crack jokes like saying, you better be careful, they're watching you, or something like that.
The United States of America, home to 300 million people. Each of us assuming that if we obey the law and mind our own business, there's no reason for anyone to pay much attention to us. That's what we might think, but we would be wrong.
Records are being created of activities that used to be wholly private.
There are a lot of companies that you've never heard about, but they've heard something about you.
Detailed personal information is being collected every day and used in ways we could never imagine.
Most Americans are in your database somewhere, right?
Also billions of transactions.
Internet searches are being recorded.
They keep everything. Your political leanings.
Did you catch the subliminal message? They're basically trying to say, don't look up what's really going on.
Your religious leanings, your medical concerns, your sexual concerns.
Driving habits are being monitored.
Vehicle speed, engine speed, whether the brakes are on or off.
Employees are surveilled.
He's heading back to the shop right now.
Shoppers are observed, recorded, and analyzed.
That's an alert right there.
And personal phone calls?
I was under the impression that nobody could steal my cell phone records. As it turns out, I was very, very wrong.
We are living through a revolution, a surveillance revolution empowered by technology.
Literally within 5 to 7 minutes, we've identified the individual.
It's technology that can be put to good use to stop terrorists and solve crimes.
Did you catch that? They're using the exaggerated threat of terrorism to justify these illegal activities. This is one of the key reasons why 9/11 was carried out.
But if information falls into the wrong hands, or it's just plain wrong, it can ruin lives.
I went without a job for months.
Tough 4 months.
Very, very difficult for me.
From implantable chips
They make a small incision in your arm.
to data mining companies,
Well, how secure is that database?
we take an unprecedented look at the powerful business of personal information.
We're not mining through the personal lives of innocent Americans.
The government is now working with big business to take surveillance and information gathering to levels that were once the stuff of science fiction.
Big Brother, if allowed to happen, will happen. And our job as responsible human beings in society is to make sure that that does not occur.
This is video of the World Federalist Association talking about one world government, New World Order back in 1999. They openly talk about it as if destroying America is actually a good thing. This is very disturbing, and I don't think Hillary Clinton would want any Americans watching this, since she's in it.
You know that we have come to the point of our really being here this evening, and that is to honor with the Norman Cousins Global Governance Award, Walter Cronkite. We are proud to present to you this amethyst geode, and I hope all of you will take the opportunity at the conclusion of the program to come up and examine it. We're not worrying about anybody carrying it off. It's too heavy for me to lift. But it illustrates a very important lesson. The crystals of a geode are formed within another rock that serves as the foundation for their fragile beauty. The rock provides the structure necessary for the crystals to grow. And in similar fashion, world government is the structure necessary necessary for global justice. You, sir, have been a lifelong advocate of this principle, and it is appropriate, therefore, that we present you with this amethyst geode.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And there are many of us here who had wished back a couple of decades ago that we had been addressing you as Mr. President in a slightly different environment. And thank you, Mrs. Annan, for those lovely words you spoke. I will treasure them, and I'm greatly honored, quite obviously, by the Norman Cousins Global Governance Award. I'll try to get it right, since I will be referring to it frequently, of course.
We would like to bring you a message from the First Lady of the United States, Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Good evening and congratulations, Walter, on receiving the World Federalist Association's Global Governance Award. For more than a generation in America, it wasn't the news until Walter Cronkite told us it was the news. Every night at 6 o'clock, we welcomed you into our living rooms and listened as you explained the complex events of the day. Whether it was the space race or the Vietnam War, presidential elections, or peace treaties, you were there, telling us in simple yet riveting prose what was happening. You became a trusted member of my family and the families across America. For decades, you told us the way it is. But tonight, we honor you for fighting for the way it could be. With your continuing leadership, we can sail across these unnavigated seas into the 21st century. And there's no better captain I can imagine than you.
Okay, why do you think Russia wanted to occupy Afghanistan and take control of that country, and we helped the Mujahideen, or the Al-Qaeda at that time? They were freedom fighters. They weren't Al-Qaeda. They were freedom fighters, the Mujahideen. And why did we arm them so Russia couldn't take the country over? Because they wanted to put the same pipeline through that we put through. And that was done by Unocal. Karzai used to work for Unocal. He's now the president that we put in place. We're basically putting regimes in place wherever we want to, whenever we want to. Our leadership is going around the world. And this is a plan that's been put in place a long time ago, and George Bush and his administration is doing exactly what he's told to do. It says China-Russia pledged friendship, challenging what they see as the threat of a new global order dominated by the United States. They're talking about they're challenging the new global order dominated by the United States. That's Yang and that's Putin. They're developing the friendship, they're developing the treaties, they're developing the ties. It says here Russia and China have found common ground recently on countering alleged global dominance by the United States.
Across the vast expanse of Russia, General Haberger saw the weapons built with America in mind. A Typhoon ballistic submarine, able to take out a continent in less than an hour. This train, with its hidden missiles, capable of launching 30 warheads on the move.
As part of what they showed you, they put on a launch drill of a Topo regiment for you, did they not? The heart of that mobile system.
Yes. To see those doors of those garages open up and to see those missiles come out, I'll tell you, Dan, ran chills up and down my back.
Ready to stop, tilt its rockets to the sky, and launch within minutes of receiving an order.
Can they hit anything with this missile, this huge thing launched off the back of this truck?
Yes.
If they chose to, they could hit one of our cities with these things?
Once they put the target coordinates in there, yes, sir, they could.
But this is something most people assumed that we didn't have to worry about anymore.
No Russian missiles are pointed at the children of Minnesota and the United States for the first time since the dawn of the nuclear age. There are no Russian missiles pointing at these children here.
When the president told the American people over and over again in the last presidential campaign that the nuclear nightmare was over,
in the Cold War,
what he didn't say is that there was no way to verify that agreement, and that many of the missiles can go right back on their Cold War targets within